Okay, so we find ourselves here in the Idra Zuta on page Reish Ayin Zayin. We're going to start off a little new, different kind of look here. But let's see what the Zohar says. It says, Kol tikunim de dikna do. All the tikunim of this dikna, the dikna of Zair Anpin, Ukim the Rabbi Idra Kadisha has been explained. His nine tikunim, Hamad Rabbi Arno be Idra Rabba Kadisha. So it's already been explained, talked about in the Idra Rabba. He means that I, Rabbi Shimon, talked about it. The tikunim the Chatika Kadisha is talking. Shekol the tikunim nisaktem ayidecha aris. So all of the tikunim in the beard of Zair Anpin, and let's try to understand once again the concept of tikun. Is hismat is the or. It's the concept of limiting the light of the Ein Sof, which is the light of nothingness, so that it becomes more and more physical. So because of that glow or the radiance that's coming from the tikunim of the dikna of Atika Kadisha, Shahu Erich Anpin, who is Erich Anpin. The Gavarn is Bayer Sham, and it's already been explained by Idra Rabba. Called a Tisha tikunim shal chadikna shal Zair Anpin bepratas. We've had the details on this before. But now we want to come and we want to say some more. Valkan be'idra zuta, here in the Zuta. And they wrote to the Galos say the Chasod and want to explain them. Shal adikna shal Zair Anpin, we want to talk about the secrets over there. Ma'adalo yiskale talman, that was not mentioned over there in the Idra Rabba. Shadon is Galo Gadayim be'idra Rabba, begin the mail below Kasufa. Kadeis that I should be Zeicha to go into the next world without shame. Ekane beboshes b'nei panim le'olam haba. Shelo ya'amru alai, so they shouldn't be say in regards to me. Began Aiden, that when I finally reached that place beyond this world of my resting, he said, that I'm leaving the world, and I left something out. Ki hachasarti levar v'lagalos as kol hasodas, because I lacked the ability, or I did not, for whatever reason, reveal all of the secrets. Now, in this little piece right now, we're going to have an hakdama. So we need to read this hakdama and keep it in mind. So he said, Yud Gimel Tikuni Dikno Shel Erich Anpin. So we have established before that Erich Anpin has 13 tikunim in his beard. Hama'irim b'Zair Anpin, and they all shine into Zair Anpin. Heman iskarnam b'parshas kisi, so you could see them over there in the parsha. Shehem Kael was number 1, Rachum was number 2, Chanum is number 3, Erich is number 4, Apayim is number 5, Rav Chesed is number 6. Ve'emes is number 7, Notzer Chesed is number 8, Lo'olofim is number 9, Nose Avon is number 10, Upesha is number Yud Aleph, Vachotos is Yud Beis, Benake Yud Gimel. So those are the 13. Now the rotation tikunim of the dikna of Zair Anpin. V'heim hanizkarim b'parsha Shalach. So those you find in parsha Shalach, that's the parsha has to do with the Meraglim. Shehem, and here they are. Erich is number 1. Apayim is number 2. Apayim is Lashon, really hold back anger. Rav Chesed is number 3. Nose Avon is number 4. Upesha is number 5. Venake is number 6. Poket Avon Avos Albanim is number 7. Al Shleishim even to the 3rd generation is number Ches. Al Revoim even into the 4th generation, which is number Tes, number 9. Now he said Vehine Tira. So if you look at this, you'll understand Shagimel Tikunim B'Rishonim Shel Zair Anpin, and this is a statement he's making that the first 3 Tikunim of Zair Anpin, Hein Keshemos Tikun Dalet Hey involved Shel Erich Anpin, so they correspond. To just see how they correspond, and they do. V'tikun Dalet Hey Shel Zair Anpin. Now looking at these particular ones, this number Dalet and number Hey, which are in the 4th and the 5th Tikun of the beard of Zair Anpin, Heim Keshemos Tikun Yud and Yud Aleph. They're the same names as Yud and Yud Aleph Shel Erich Anpin. V'tikun Vav Shel Erich Anpin, the one that we're not talking about, we just said Dalet and Hey. Hu Kashem Tikun Yud Gimel, it follows after the name of the 13 Shel Erich Anpin. Aval Tikunim there, but still that is a correspondence of 3 and 3. Although Gimel Tikunim Achronim, but the final 3 Shel Zair Anpin, Ein Lo Shemes Makbilam, it has no names that correspond to them in the beard of Erich Anpin, the tikunim Erich Anpin, over Hagdamazos Yavor Manj Amar L'Cholon. So now you're going to have an idea of what we're talking about as we go further. Is that further? Anyway. Called tikunim the dikna or kimna. So he says, now we've explained all about the tikunim of the dikna, the kulim of the tikunim, the dikna, the tikka kadisha, as we understood from the beard of Erich Anpin. Because what we said that all of the 9 tikunim of the beard of Erich Anpin, so you have 9 in Zair Anpin, and they're all put together. How do they work out? Through the 13 of Erich Anpin, or shining down there. So it's been talked about in the Idra Zuta. So it's a shita inun. So actually what you have is kiba emes rak shisha tikunim rishonim. Only the first 6 tikunim of the beard of Zair Anpin shall tisha tikuni dikna shall Zair Anpin. Hey me'ira b'nisaktim ayadei shlosha asa tikunim dikna shall Erich Anpin. Now what he just says is that the first 6 tikunim, there were 9 tikunim in the beard of Erich Anpin, are the only ones that are directly related to the 13. But nonetheless, he's going to say that it's going to spread down to the rest of the other 3 we're not talking about. So therefore, these don't have corresponding names. It's only the first 6 that correspond to names that we find in Erich Anpin. So similarly, because of this reason, there are 3 tikunim at the end, shall Zair Anpin. In other words, we know about the first 6. Shehem Poked Avos Albonim, Al Shalashim, Al Reveim. These are the 3 that we don't have a corresponding words in Erich Anpin to say that they're getting a direct relationship. Heim Dinim Gemurim. So the Pirush says that the reason why is because they're complete and total dinim. No pink over there. Because they do not get a glow or the radiance that comes from Erich Anpin. Tisha Ikrun. So he said, but another way to look at it, now just a second, he says, even though you say that it's dark down there and it's really pure dinim in the lower 3 tikunim, but we know that all of the 13 tikunim of Erich Anpin are shining at the entire beard of Zair Anpin. But it's not shlosh also tikuni dikta shel Erich Anpin, and it's all built and put into working order because of the dikna of Erich Anpin shining. Eriki al yedecha arash shlosh also tikuni dikta shel Erich Anpin. That radiance which shines on from the 13 tikunim of Erich Anpin, B'shisha tikunim and rishonim in the first 3 tikunim. Nebshaka aras tikuni dikno shel Erich Anpin min ashisha tikunim rishonim gam ela shlosha tikunim achronim shel Zair Anpin. That's a long sentence, but basically what he says, since you fill out the first 6, that you're shining the first 6, then it also comes over, and his words are gam el shlosha tikunim, so it winds up also shining onto the 3 at the bottom shel Zair Anpin. So now it's the top, bottom, exactly what he's talking about. Let's try to figure it out. So he said, Tikkun Kadimah. Let's talk about the first tikkun. Tikkun Arishon Shal Dikna de Zair Anpin, this first tikkun. Say the Yitziyasim Kachu, this is what it's like as it goes out. Nafa Kachu, now this gets a little bit more particular, so let's go slowly. Nafa Kachu Nitzutza Butzini de Kardanusa. So he says, Shayatza Osa Hanitza Shel Haner Chazak, that powerful candle, that powerful flame, which is called the Butzini de Kardanusa. He says Haner HaChazak, the powerful candle. Because the Muchstimah is really the lodging place of the Gevura of Atik, is inside of the Muchstimah of Erich Anpin. So what happens is that this comes out from there, this spark. And where does it go? It hides itself inside of the womb, or not the womb, but he means the innards of Ima, Bina. L'misham nimshach v'nislavish b'soch rosh Zair Anpin, and from that position inside of Ima, it closes itself and enters into Zair Anpin, the rosh Zair Anpin. U'batash b'tchol sa'ara deresha. Once it's inside there, it strikes at the underneath the hairs of the head. So this spark that is now coming from the Mochs Dima into Bina, into Ima, is now going to spark outwards. Hazesh Rosh Zair Anpin, and now it's going to make a spark here at the tip of the he means not that the tip is the wrong word, the end, the paya of the beard of Erich Anpin, or of the hair Yatzach of Hakatachas Aras Arosh. So it goes out and it strikes that place underneath the hairs of the head, behind the Tachas Payas Arosh. That is, he means in the corners of the beard. Shehu Tachas Kutzin da Al Udnin, which is underneath the hairs that are over the ears. Metachas Kutzin Aras Shal Payas. It sounds like it's pretty hidden. Shehei Ma'al Haznayim, Haznayim, that's right. Shehei Me'al Haznayim, which is up above the ears. In other words, the ears are free, it sounds like. And but right at the paya, there's a striking of this spark. Yatzer Sham Sa'aros Tikkun the Rishon Shaladikta. And as a result of this is what causes the hair of the beard to start to grow. And then it goes down. It goes down opposite the place of the ear hole. So they go down from the opening by the ear at Resha de Puma until it falls down to the upper lip. That sounds like the beginning of the mouth. Nimshach ad Rosha Elyon Shalapan, to the top head of the mouth of Zair Anpin. Now, so here we have the first tikkun. It comes as a result of a spark that comes from the Mochas Dima, which has within it this Gevura of Atik Yomim. And as a result of this spark, it enters into Ima, the inside of Ima, and as a result comes out. It comes out as Ima enters into Zair Anpin, and Ima, then that spark comes out of the head of Zair Anpin as she comes into the head of Zair Anpin, and it produces the beginnings of hair. Ha-tikun idoa, so this tikkun, hine bezer ha-tikun ha-rishon shaladikna, maratika kedisha lo ishtekach, lo nimsebo min or Erich Anpin hanikra tika kedisha. So he says, what? You don't find that time of light that's coming from Erich Anpin, because Erich Anpin meir bo b'fnei atzmo. So by himself, though, he wants to say it's not a direct relationship to Erich Anpin. So the only way that the hairs grow is through the agency of the next parts of down from Erich Anpin. He's surrounded from approximately the arms or the shoulders downwards by Abba Ve'ima. And so therefore it has to enter into those parts of enlarged there, the Hainukufiyah Seder Hazeh, so it has to be like this. So he says like this, Kad Nagig Mazel Latika Gadisha. He said, the chef of a ha'or shel Erich Anpin. Now, as of the light that is inside of the hairs of the beard of Erich Anpin, it starts to come down, but mazel of the dikna chatika kaddish, and it goes through the mazlos, in other words, the beard, the hismatus of the light. So then what starts hanging down as this starts to move through the beard, and then this bounty, this bracha, this life force, and this light, he says, it grabs onto that place. Osa mabua ha-chochma, that is that stream of chochma shal mochs dimah, that it also comes out of the mochs dimah. This is an interesting thing. The chochma of Erich Anpin is located in the mochs dimah, but that chochma has inside of it this gevura that he's talking about. So chochma is on the side of the right. This is more chesed, but inside of it has a gevura, not to be forgotten. Shenechlala bo chesed the atik yomim, because you have the chesed of atik yomim as well as the gevura. I said that I was talking about the gevura. He says the chesed also is mislavish inside a nikra avira dachya, which has this name called avira dachya. That's pure air. So now you have fire on one hand, and you have pure air on the other. So therefore here we see this light which is called the Avira Dakya, the pure air, is now closed itself inside of Abba, which is Chachma. Kad ima it's mashkan is kalila b'chaviradakya. So then there's a period here. V'az parts of ima, which has the spark in it. Nemshechas v'nechlalas ba'Abba, that she gets pulled towards, and she becomes one with Abba. Shaganus bo, that is Shaganus bo aviradakya, that Abba has inside of himself this aviradakya. Hachu hivara nakit ima. The ima lokechas osa gavo nolov, and she takes this whiteness, which he says is coming from Abba. Which is the chesed coming from actually comes from the Gugolta of Erich Anpin, and it's contained in this aviradakya, this pure Haganus ba'Abba, which is now hidden inside of Abba. So now it comes out that this aviradakya, which is hidden inside of Abba, nichlal yachad, it gets incorporated together, ima nitzutzas haganus be'ima, with the sparks that are hidden in ima. V'nitzutza olos, v'nitzutza rabenzecha shegavar nimtok b'ravira. So this nitzutza that we're talking about, that's already been sweetened in this avira, niknas acha b'nislavish b'sok rosh Zair Anpin. So it enters now, clothes itself inside of the head of Zair Anpin. V'nfakas v'az yotzech ha'nitzutza b'chutz the rosh Zair Anpin. So then these nitzutza, or the nitzutza, which we said came from the Mochas Nima as well. Umaka tachas peyos rosh strikes now underneath. In other words, it sounds to me like skin level coming right out of the head, and it strikes at this ached do bezen. It causes these two forces to come together. So now you see what's happening over here is our big model, or the basic model, is that the chesed is coming to sweeten the gevura. The chesed gets combined yachad in the nitzutza shuha gevura. Visavidis chad tikuna, and it makes one tikuna. Again, a limitation, that is a midah, which squeezes down the light of the Ein Soch and makes it more physical. The betoch is kalalus. So in the midst, or from this incorporation, 1 second, hazo shal chesed the gevura. Now you have these two together. Na'as is tikun echod. It makes one particular tikun. Shuhu tikun the rishon, which is the first tikun, shall dikna the Zair Anpin. So now we're going on, and let's see like this. Because itztrich ulefish sorach an hagas ha'olam. So now, according to the way the world has to be treated, im larachamim oladin, whether we're talking about a side of rachamim or din, salkada al da ki goiver v'ola ha'avira dakia al hanitzutza ola hefach. So what you have is the ability of one of the colors to dominate the other one. B'hiskasi echad mikemechada. A miskasa ha'echon l'liftach avera. So the one covers over the other. Because if it's necessary for mercy, which we pray for constantly to come into the world, so then what happens is that the aviradakya becomes more powerful, and it dominates shuhu chesed. It is chesed ala nitzutza shuhu gevura, and it dominates the gevura. This concept is one of the aspects of what happens in this first tikkun of bechinas chesed. And then the world starts going good. Everything is looking up. But then the other hand, if it's necessary that the world has to be punished, there's going to be punishment in the world. He says, so then what happens is the spark which is represented by Gevura. He said, the Revolution, it causes everything to go in the side of din. 1 second, please. So of din, and then the world starts to run b'midas din with punishment. Again, kach, and for this reason, kula itzrich, we need to know all of this. All of this what? You have to take everything, in other words, everything, there's this, the non-hoga is a hismatus of the light in a certain way. It could be either go to the way of rachamim, or it could go in the way of din, or bein han-hogas din. Ki echad le'me'eved nukmin. So these are his words. Echad, one of these colors, one of these din, one side, either din or rachmim. V'hu anhagas adikta b'midas din. Let's say we go to the midas din because of the power that is in the spark. V'chad l'rachma, but there's another side which goes in rachma. V'echad sar kadei l'rachem b'bnei Yisrael. So you need another one for mercy. And this is how the beard, it seems to me like it's almost like a light that flashes one side to the next. It gives a turning light. It could be either white, it could be red. So these are my words. And how does this happen? As a result of the chesed that comes out of the aviradachya, this aviradachya which goes into Abba, and then as a result of that enters into Zair Anpin, mixes with that spark. So this is what David HaMelech hungered for. So that we see the David HaMelech is claiming this or wanting this. The koich zera dikna, in order to have the power that comes to this dikna of Zair Anpin, which has the ability to be able to harness this midah hadin and gevura, because he needed to harness this in order to wage his wars, in order to be able to take out punishment and vengeance on the enemies of the Jews, coming to Kim, like we said, like this. Now the Zohar goes on and it says, B'hai dikna, b'zeha dikna shal Zair Anpin, tisha tikuni ishtakachu. You find over here in this beard that there are 9, as we have said, 9 tikunim, 9 levels of hismatus of the or. So we find now these 9 tikunim of Erich Anpin. Now he says this idea, that actually what's going on is there are 9 parts of the beard of Erich Anpin which constantly shine at the beard of Zair Anpin. Only 9 parts. So these 9 radiances, they wind up getting divided into the beard of Zair Anpin, the shisha tikunim bifnei atzman, v'shlosha tikunim bifnei atzman, that where you would have 6 of the tikunim will be a category by themselves, and 3 will be in another category. He says, Shita Ravav and the Talia Bahu. Ki Shisha Tikunim Shal Dikna Zair Anpin, Hanikroim Shish Riba, which is called 600,000. Haim Tuluyin B'nechazim B'shlosh Tikunim Echerim, they're hanging down from, grabbing hold of the other 3 tikunim that are below them, Shal Dikna the Zair Anpin. Now I'm thinking they're below. First, all he said is there's 9. 3 of them he had talked about have no real direct relationship to Erich Anpin, and so subsequently they don't have the same names, which he said previously refers to the fact that they are found in Din. But over here he's going to say like this, that the 6, they're always attached to the 3. Mispashtim b'kol gufa. And then from that attachment, it goes not just in the beard of Zair Anpin, but all of this flow goes into the whole body of Zair Anpin, because the 6 are now holding on to the lower 3. So it sounds like the lower 3 are like a 9. They're like a netzachod yisod, although he's not going to say that. But it is the same, it's as if it is the part that actually spreads throughout Zair Anpin. So he says, predicted the Zair Anpin. And now let's look at his beard. I'm looking at his beard. Where are these 6 tikunim located on that beard? And where are the other 3 located? So those 3 that are holding on to those 6 that are holding on to the other 3, they start hanging down from the area of the cheek, and here he called it in yesterday's shir. It's called the cheek is called the kuva de busma. It's an area of incense offering. Taliyasam Haim b'shlosha tikunim shal ha'sa'ara shebetachas hapanim. So he's talking about where they hang is that from those hairs that are underneath the face, hanikta takrubas hamintcha chasabasan v'bechem ha'sa'aras ha'omdim be'ems hapanim kedlechalon. Now he says all of those things. I'd like to go over the words again because I'm a little confused about what he said. He says, let's go to the black print. Talien b'sa'arit t'chos takruba de busma. The first thing is busmin. To understand where is, and I saw this previously, that it's in the cheek. So now what is he to say? He says that the place of this incense offering is like laid out of rows of incense on the cheeks. But then they hang down into these other three that are underneath the face. So this, I'm not sure which exactly is this takruvas, and let's see if we can hear it. And these are the hairs that actually are in the middle of the face. Now the six are on each side of the face, 3 and 3. Now if anybody's been listening to the shiur, we know that there was a piece in here where kind of a mysterious piece where Reb Shimon started to talk about the concept of threes. So we know that threes are right, left, and middle. That's one concept of threes. Here we have another set of threes. Here we have the beard of Zair Anpin, 3 on the right, 3 on the left, and they're attached in some way to another set of 3. Behind the tlas mahai sitra, so he says that there's a 3 on this side. Shlosha tikunim oimde b'tzad zeh, behind the b'tzad yamin shalapon. So they're on the right side of the face. The slas mahai sitra, and then there's another 3. Shlosha tikunim oimde b'tzad zeh. There's another 3 tikunim that are on a different side. Behind the b'tzad small shalapon. V'yakirusa the dikta of makom, the most hayakar, so the most beautiful, the most choice place of the beard. Shuhu be'emsa upon him, which is like lined up in the middle line. I guess that's what he means, in the middle of the face. Because in the middle, that's where you really find, look at anybody's beard, it says that the beard has a fulcrum to it, and that's the chin, and then it starts to move down. Maybe that's what he means, I don't know. So he said, Talian plus achronim. So from this, now we have another 3 that hang down. Shem tolam tikuni Sham teluyim shlosh tikunim acherim shehem. Now you see that there's another 3 that are hanging down. That chad la'elo b'safas abavon. So these other 3 now he says that in the middle. So like we understand that the lips are in the middle too. So he says one of them is by the lips. He said one of these 3 is by the lips. Echad lamala b'saras shesabibas esafayim. So one is up above. The Srein be'inin sarin Italian ad dibura, and the other 2, v'od shnayim, another 2, be'elah ha'sa'aru shal over zakan. These are the hairs that are in the thickness of the beard. The nikroim mazlos, which are called here areas of flow, mazlos. Hanimshacha v'taluyas the matach the tibur, and this mazel is flowing downwards towards the tibur of the body. V'kol chani shita, v'kol elu shisha tikunim shehem tlas mikan v'tlas mikan. Now let's count them up here again. Once again, let's talk about the 6 that we talked about. The 6, he says there are 3 on one side, 3 on the other side. Shlosh mikan v'tzad yamin, shlosh mikan v'tzad small. It's mashkin v'talian kulhu be'inin sari desalyan. Kulam nemshachim. So all of the 6 on the right side and the left side, 3 and 3 are flowing downwards. Kulam nimshachim b'taluyim mischadrim ba'osem hasaros shaloshlosha tikunim shebe'emsa haponim. All of them attach themselves, and what is inside of them flows down into the other parts of the beard, the other 3 areas. V'hataluyas v'nimshachos ad the tibur shebeguf Zair Anpin, which continue to flow until they reach the tibur of Zair Anpin. Excuse me, I'm getting my book offline as I'm not looking at that. Let me just erase this little part here. I just said that will damage. Shakal hatesha tikuni dikna is pashtin b'kol aguf, because the idea is like this: you had six spheros on the 6 tikunim rather on the face. Then there was another one around the mouth in some way. Then the other 2 go all the way down to the tibur. So he said, Ki hashisha tikuni dikna shemiyamin is small, so the 3 on the right side, 3 on the left side. They join together and make a oneness with the tikunim that are in the middle. the middle of the panim. Mispashtim yachad im ad tibor shebaguf, so the two of them together now flow all the way down. That is the 6, 3 on one side, 3 on the other side, and the other 3 which are in the middle of the face and attach and go all the way down. Misham mispashtim, they call the goof, from that place they spread to the entire body. Begin the hani flaws, and because of these 3, the because of these 3 tikunim, they were in the middle of the beard, of the face. Inun biyakira the dikni yater mekulho, so the tikunim that are in the middle are the most precious. Hein b'makom ayakar, the choice place shall the dikna yosef v'shar called the tikunim more than any of the other tikunim. Ki hein be'emsach b'pana, because why they're in the middle. Shuhu ikrach dikna, which is really where the main root of the dikna is. It flows down from there. Kasid b'hu, and it's written in regards to them Shema Kedusha, their holy name. The because of the tremendous merit and the importance of them. So therefore they are called by Shema Kedusha, a holy name. So we have this pasuk which is called Min HaMetzer. Metzer means the narrow place, which refers to the beard, really the payos of the beard of the beard. Amram and David HaMelech said this, David HaMelech connected the Tisha to Dikta to Zair Anpin, and when he said this, he's talking about the beard of Zair Anpin. And he said it in regards to the lights and the radiances that are coming from around the mouth. Min HaMetzer Karasayak. Now let's go back over again. Yud K means Abba Ve'ima. So Min HaMetzer Karasayak. Because these hairs are found in a narrow place. Now what does he mean? He means tsar, narrow. This area which is around the mouth. And also around the hairs of the upper mazel. He says, Omer aneni b'merchav yak. So that's where he says, answer me in your broad pace, Abba Ve'ima. Because where do you find them? You find them in the breadth of the beard. And then also we're thinking of the lower mazel. Amar Hashem li lo yira. He says, Hashem is with me, I will not be afraid. In all of these, we see that the name in some way representing Yud Kei Vav Kei, either the flow into Zair Anpin or the flow coming out of Zair Anpin, or the manifestation of Zair Anpin of Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's